A very warm welcome and a very good afternoon to all of you. I, Shivani Bindal, Vice President, would like to welcome you all to this webinar that is hosted in association by the Department of Finance and Business Economics in association with Hitbullseye. The topic of today's webinar is MBA in Business Economics, the new normal to career growth, where we are going to specifically aim to talk about why an MBA in business economics is a better alternative to a regular run of the mill MBA and how our institute, the Department of Finance and Business Economics, would help you in that journey. Taking a couple of minutes, I would like to tell you that today, as the world grows leaps and bounds and explores new dimensions of technological and psychological supremacy, the demands and needs of the customers grow along with it. There is not a single aspect of life that is not driven by data. Currently, as businesses cope with the change, the pandemic induced hindsight in the market makes processes and services difficult for the consumers. Specializations and quantitative techniques in business and analytics have thus become all the more important to cope up with this dynamic corporate world. Today, we have with us Dr. Yamini Gupt. She's the Associate Professor, DFPE, and Placement Coordinator. She's also the Deputy Dean, International Relations, and Deputy Director in Center for Canadian Studies. And we also have Dr. Ananya Ghosh Dastidar, who is a senior faculty at DFPE. They are the esteemed faculty members of our institute who will lay the groundwork to a grand event. The Department of Finance and Business Economics is a marquee institute of an eminent cadre that comes under the ambit of the magnanimous Dell University. The institute offers programs of MBA in Finance and MBA in Business Economics, along with PhD in Economic and Analytical Research. The institute is established in the southern campus of Delhi University and is known to have institutionalized the country's first master's program in business economics, which goes way back to 1973. This program was modeled after Harvard's Business School course of a similar domain. Later, it got restructured as an MBA in Business Economics, which combined a strong foundation of economics in business and a thorough understanding of QTB with the practical knowledge of the business world. I'm very proud to say that our department has produced several corporate personnel who have went on to prove their mettle in their respective fields. Giving context to the same, I would now like to call Yamini ma'am to the mic and ask her to say a few words.
Good afternoon. It's a good feeling to be part of this webinar, and I would like to tell you a little bit about myself, especially the fact that I'm an alumnus of this program. I graduated from business economics in 1992, and after that I did my PhD from the US, and then I came back to teach. As Shivani has told you, I also look after placements, and right now I'm also the course coordinator for this course in the department. I teach time series and business forecasting, and I teach a paper on industrial organization, which we call Firms, Markets and Public Policy. I also do some amount of teaching for the PhD coursework. More about the department. Shivani has given you a good introduction, and being an alumnus, why don't I start talking a little bit about our alumni? We have a very large alumni base because we've been around for 47 years producing world-class leaders, and these people are present in every possible organization that you can think of. Some of the notable alumni that I can think of are Lalit Lohia. He used to be with Standard Chartered. I don't know if he's still there. He's my batch. There's Jyotsna Gaddi, who's with Microsoft. Krishan Chutani, who's been with Dabur International ever since we graduated. He got placed in Dabur and he's still there and he's doing really well. Now he's based in Dubai. There's Amit Kalra, who's at a very senior position in Swiss Re. We have Vivek Upadhyay, who's with Nestle. He's the Insights Director. Incidentally, these are my students, so I'm going to be very partial and tell you only about my colleagues and my students. Then we have Fela, who is with Adobe. He's the head of services marketing. We have Deepshikha Muza Handa, who is with Snapdeal. Her husband, Prithvi Handa, is also an alumnus, and both of them were in the same batch. Then we have Abha Kakkar, who is an AVP at Royal Bank of Scotland. We have Vikas Gaba, who I still remember as an amazingly bright student, is a director at KPMG, and Nidhi Kalra Arora, who is a director at American Express. So this is just to name a few. And one interesting thing I'd like to tell you that a lot of MBA aspirants are looking at return on investment. So because this is a Delhi University course, we have a minimal fee. And if that's something you're looking for, then you don't need to go any further. The return on investment is about 100:1. We have done pretty well on ratings. We have a AAA accreditation by Career 360, AA in Times B School ranking, and we have a 26th position in the Outlook rankings of the best B schools in the country. Placements, I know that's a very major determinant for you choosing, for your choice of business school. So the companies that come to our campus, it's a very long list. I'll just tell you a few prominent ones. Accenture, American Express, Arcesium, Bank of America, Barclays, Cognizant, D. Shaw and Company, Deloitte, HSBC, KPMG, PwC, ICICI Bank, several other banks also come, but just to name a few. The domains for hiring are essentially consulting, market research, IT, energy, analytics, consumer services, marketing. And if you're curious about what profiles these companies offer to our students, we get quite an eclectic mix of profiles, including consulting, MR, analytics, business modeling, financial analysis and valuation, and even economic journalism. Um, Also, students have also taken placements in research organizations where they do economic and business research. The average package is 11.97 lakhs per annum, the highest 21.5, median 10.5. We have a considerable number of students going to Fortune 500 companies, and a lot of our students also get PPOs. So after they finish their internship, if they've done a really good job, the companies tend to offer them placements. So that's always a very promising experience. And for the first year students, internships are mandatory, and the maximum stipend has gone up to 2 lakhs. The mean stipend is about 59,000, and the median stipend is about 50,000. So that's all from me. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them later.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I would now like to call upon Ananya ma'am to please say a few words about the pedagogy and the study curriculum at DFPE.
Again, a very warm welcome to all of you on behalf of our entire department, our program. I would like to welcome you to this webinar. I'll also begin by introducing myself, and then I'll discuss a little bit about the course outline. So I've been with this department for nearly 16 years now. I have a PhD in economics, and the courses I teach are mostly tool courses that apply economics. So there's econometrics, there's statistics, as well as core economic courses like macroeconomics and so on. So those are some of the courses that I teach here. Apart from, of course, some research courses for the PhD students. Now, so far as the course curriculum is concerned, let me give you a brief idea. So ours is a 2-year program. It's a full-time 2-year program in MBA in business economics, spread over 4 semesters, where on average you study about 7 courses in each semester. Now, you know that there's a, in a data-driven world, there is a lot of demand for from businesses for data analysts, and that's actually one niche area that our course caters to, among others, of course. So we offer students the chance to specialize in at least 2 fields, of which analytics is one. You may also specialize in economics, in finance, in marketing. So in our first year, that is in the first 2 semesters, we lay the foundation for the courses in management, in economics, and also for the quantitative tools, which you can specialize in the 3rd and 4th semesters. So in the first semesters, you have a whole range of courses from the basics of accounting, marketing management, to microeconomics analysis, statistics, and so on. In the 2nd semester, you have further courses in tools like basic econometrics, in specialized areas which are really coming up, like environmental economics. And then, of course, there is our strength in core papers like international economics, macroeconomics, where our entire orientation is to give you an application-oriented sort of training in these areas, along with hands-on training with software-based packages, so that you learn to apply the knowledge that you gather over here. Okay. Now, in terms of evaluation, we really stress group-based project work, so that there's a great deal of peer interaction, a great deal of peer learning. Then, of course, we have, in the 3rd and the 4th semester, students pursue research projects where they can delve deep into their areas of interest, and also get a grasp of how best to apply some of the tools that they learn. So as I said, in your 3rd and 4th semesters, you have the option of specializing in a lot of areas, at least 4 of them. I repeat: economics, finance, marketing, and analytics. Now, I think that's a lot about the pedagogy. Now, what about other aspects of learning in our department? Well, we have a lot of what I would say experiential learning, because students are very closely involved in a number of activities. And we have several clubs. In fact, there are over 10 clubs, very domain specific, and each gives you the chance to work together, to organize events, to keep your ties with industry strong through these events. And also there are weekly seminars. So that's the overview from my side about the course. And I think if you have any specific questions, I'll be happy to take them.
Thank you, ma'am. Moving forward, we all know that this has been a year of digital events, and while all of us do miss interacting with each other face to face, we have had to get creative and get our events going on the virtual platform. I would now like to start the panel discussion. We have amongst us Mr. Gaurav Agarwal, Assistant Manager, American Express, Ms. Manisha Besla, Analyst at RCSM, Ms. Nikita Manocha, Assistant Manager at Barclays. Moderating the session today, we have Mr. Karthik Joshi, Manager at American Express. So if you could please start the discussion.
Hey, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are.
All right, cool. So good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining and hope you've all found the session really informative so far. So having passed out of the course in 2016, it's great to be back. And so like just for some context, so business economics essentially is a blend of economics, statistical tools and techniques, fundamentals of business. So all of which really help businesses formulate successful strategies. So as Shivani mentioned earlier, the topic of our discussion today will be MBA in business economics, the new normal to career growth. So we really hope by the end of the session, we all walk away with valuable insights into how an MBA in business economics can help us build the foundation for one's career and how the course structure by the department essentially facilitates all of this. So without much further ado, let us begin with the panel discussion. So my first question to each of the panelists would be, so in a traditional corporate setup, there has always been focus on specific functions like analytics, marketing, or operations. How do you feel an MBA in a macroeconomic concept like business economics helps in such a corporate setup?
Yeah, so if I can add to that, Karthik, it's really good to see first all the faculty members and the students. So great to be back over here. To answer your question, I'll say that since you talked about marketing, operations, finance, whatever field today there is in the industry, it is all dependent on data-driven decision making. The traditional methods of decision making are slowly going away, and all the organizations in the world are moving towards data-driven decision making, and that is why the importance of economics plus data analytics comes into the picture, which our college specifically focuses on. The core values as well as the fundamentals what we are taught over here make us very strong and make us industry ready. The technology keeps on changing every year, but the core values, the fundamentals remain the same. Regression, uh, gradient boosting, Bayes theorem, even the fancy terms that we hear today, like machine learning, deep learning, everything is based on the basics of decision trees and regression, which we are taught in this college. So eventually, what is like the market, what the current market trend is very specific to the course that we learn in this college. Thank you.
Hi, it's great to be back participating in one of the panel discussions. Just 2 years back, I was a part of the students sitting behind and watching such panel discussions happen. And it's really great to see Yamini ma'am and Ananya ma'am right here. And I can wave to you. I can see you, Yamini ma'am. So I'm pretty fresh out of this course. I graduated in 2019. I come from a background of economics, and that's why I tend to choose business economics as my direction to move further in my career, because what it gives you is not just, yes, there are many fancy terms like data science, AI, ML, but the foundation behind all this is what you need to learn. And that's what this institution provides us with, which Gaurav very aptly mentioned, that all these fundamentals, unless and until they're built upon, you cannot really move ahead. And yes, the technologies will change, it'll move from SAS to say Python and then so on, but the background, the statistics behind it, all the regressions, the decision trees, everything, that is something that is the base you need to learn. But those who don't have such inclination towards getting into the more technical aspect, or want to go into research, into more of economics, that advantage is given by this college as compared to any other normal B school institution, because your entire first year you have so many courses focusing on economics, and that builds a foundation for you to go into several research organizations. I remember one of my students in my batch, he ended up going to Terry, which is a very fantastic organization to work into economic research, and you do end up using data analytics and everything there and then. So that is one advantage that I believe our institution provides over other B schools that are right now more mainstream towards, say, marketing analytics, as Karthik mentioned. Yeah, that's about it from my side in this.
Yeah. Hi. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Hi. So, giving a background about myself, my name is Manisha, and I did my graduation from SRCC. After that, I worked with KPMG and I cleared CFA also. So, before coming to that college, I was really looking for a course which is into finance. And since we all know that analytics is growing in this world, so I wanted to be in finance but gain knowledge of the analytical world also. So, I chose this course, and I think this is one of the best decisions I made. And like talking about the faculty members, Yamini ma'am, Ananya ma'am, adding all other faculty members also, Chandramohan sir, Rashmi ma'am, Kaul sir, everyone is, they were so helpful, and it's like all fresh in my memory because it's been just 6 months that I graduated from here. So we gain so much of theoretical knowledge here as well as practical knowledge also. Like Yamini ma'am taught us data, time series, which while learning, I honestly did not anticipate that I will use these things later in my career. Like it's been 6 months. I started working with RCGM now. I got a PPO from here, so I can very confidently say that I literally use all the concepts which I learned during this course. So Tuhina ma'am also, she taught us financial derivatives and all the concepts which she taught. I literally go back and refer to all those concepts. So it's very nice to have done this course. And as we all know that the gold mine of all the companies is data, but it's not like the raw data is of no use. The company, the industry nowadays need financial professionals who can draw value out of this, out of that data. And this course, they give us all these strategic tools, all these strategic thinking, business acumen, which we require these days to bring sense out of that data which we have. So this, doing this course is a very, like, if you get admission in this course, it's not that easy also. So if you get admission here, it's a very nice journey of 2 years, very learning experience. Yeah, thank you. That's from my side.
All right, thanks everyone. So yeah, like we talked about a lot of great points here. So the industry is moving towards using more and more data, drawing valuable insights out of that data, which in isolation is not too meaningful in itself. And essentially how the course and department helps us build those fundamentals, those foundations in essentially using that data in a meaningful manner. And it's not just that whatever is taught in the course helps us only in the analytics field. And even Yamini ma'am talked about those and were mentioned in the discussion also. So this also helps us in non-analytics or non-technical domains as well, such as research. So yep, overall, so like again, really helpful and a lot of good points raised. Okay, so moving on. So next question, again, this is somewhat connected to the like points we talked about on fundamentals of business and how business and MBA and business economics helps us. So the question is, so businesses are run with economics and all decisions are made using data more so nowadays. So how do you think business decisions will benefit from a combination of knowledge of data analytics as well as business economics?
Okay, so yeah, I'll start over here. Karthik, what I feel that data analytics helps us making getting the meaningful insight from the data. We have a big amount of data. We have to make a coherent knowledge of the data. We use analytics and we pull out some information from that. Now, why is that trend happening? Or is that whether that trend is relevant to our industry or is for usefulness for our company or not is what economists taught us. So economists it helps us in making stories, whereas data analytics helps us in pulling the data insight. So that is why it is very essential that we have this combination of both the things. For example, we go to a market store and we are trying to study which product is selling the most. So data analytics would help us decide that this is the main product, this is the product which is selling the most. Whereas economics would tell us why is this product getting sold the most, or what is like how it is related to the income of the customer, why it is related to the general industry parameters, what are the competitors doing. So it is the amalgamation of both the things which actually makes a true data scientist, economics as well as data analytics. Thank you.
Okay, I think this is moving in a direction. It starts with Gaurav, then it goes to me, and then probably to Manisha thereafter. So yeah, as again Gaurav mentioned that data analytics. So this I'll actually draw some insights from my current experience here. So when it comes to data analytics and when it comes to business knowledge, they have to go hand in hand, because you cannot just derive or make inferences out of just raw data in your hand. Yes, you use data analytics to deep dive into it, understand patterns, get the required results, but what do you draw out of it? What's the meaning that that data shows you is something that requires a lot of business knowledge in the background. Now I am working in the financial domain because I work in the bank, and knowledge of derivatives and everything that I learned in finance in the past 2 years at DBE has really helped me, because there are certain aspects that now I'm looking into regarding the bank's performance, and it requires me to go back and realize what I had studied back then and how those factors are going to impact the data that I see. Had I not had that background knowledge, it would have been very difficult for me to just take out meaning from the data. So that business knowledge has to go hand in hand to describe a story which is working in the background. That data is just going to show you a picture, but you need to know what's going in the background, and that is what your study here, which is a combination of both. You do learn data analytics as well. So then both these aspects have to be form an eclectic blend for you to make progress in what you are working towards. So that's what I would add on in this aspect.
Yeah, thank you, Nikita. I think Gaurav and Nikita, both of them have very aptly explained what is the role of economics, finance, and analytics here. So, similarly, I will also try to take some insights from my experience at RCGM here. So, whenever we are given a task, there are like certain set of rules which everyone follows and they are to be done. But if you have knowledge apart from that rule and you can bring something out of the like something unique at the table, that is when you are recognized in your organization, and which only happens when you have the very strong foundation, very strong theoretical background working behind working at your time. So taking example from my organization only, there are few people which rather than just doing the monotonous work, they draw certain very valuable insights for the organization, due to which the time they take to do that job it reduces, and the quality of outputs they take out of their jobs uh, are maximized, and that is what make you stand out of your peer groups. So when we study here in this course, it gives us strategic thinking, which helps us at the broader level. So yeah, I think this like doing this course in finance and analytics, which can provide you majors in economics also if you want, this will make you stand apart in your professional career.
Yep, those are great points. So, yep, so essentially what we discussed was, so this course essentially helps us draw those meaningful insights from the business, the connection of data, and understanding what are the fundamentals and essentially the business logic behind that pattern of data. Essentially something which is built up over the course of the 2 years in the program. And this business knowledge essentially helps us in multiple fields such as finance. And even speaking from personal experience, I manage a strategic analytics portfolio of around 10 billion in the marketing analytics division. And certainly, I certainly feel I'm very well placed with respect to the fundamentals of business and essentially using that data in order to finally arrive at meaningful insights. And this obviously this knowledge and this structure of course is not found everywhere. So this definitely helps us and everyone who is pursuing the course really stand out when they finally enter the industry. Cool. So moving on. So we all know that there are a lot of MBA courses, there are a lot of data analytics courses all across institutes. So why do you feel one should choose a degree in business economics in this department and not go with a regular data analytics course?
Yep, this is a very pretty easy question to answer for me. The legacy of this course is since 1973. So you can say the things which people are looking up to the market in are looking up to now. We are doing this since 1973. We have a vast base of alumni who are very proficient at their works. So you can say that we are the trendsetters in the rest of the colleges. I saw a question asked by an attendee similar to that whereas the rest of the colleges are trend followers. Even IIM started their PEDBA course in 2015 only. Whereas, so you can see that where we go back in the legacy. Yamini ma'am said that she's been here since 1992. Ananya ma'am has been here since 16 years. And so are the rest of the faculty members. So, I mean, there is like, we cannot compare the knowledge, the amount of experience this college, this institution offers with the rest of the other institutes that have started offering this course recently. Yeah, over to you.
Yeah, so I was reading a few questions regarding this aspect, how our course is different from, the regular MBAs and the regular data analytics course. I would slightly take a different turn. We're not a course that, you can compare with a regular, a specialized data analytics course. And we can't even completely compare ourselves with the traditional MBA courses, because what very important thing that we bring into our curriculum of study is one, economics, and second, that we combine that with analytics, right? That is something that has become super important today. However, this combination was never being taught traditionally in other institutes in India as much it was abroad. So when I was reading about this course and I saw a similar course in Harvard and how our program is in line with something that the business economics course there, the scope is extremely vast. One thing that certain aspirants that come to DBE is, some people want to go into the Indian economic services, which no other MBA institute, once you go to an MBA institute, you cannot pursue that, because you need a master's in either economics or a master's in applied economics or master's in business economics to pursue that. And that's a very big factor that people look into while coming to DBE as well. Secondly, traditional data analytics courses, you will focus more on tools, technologies. I am not sure, I haven't attended it, neither can I comment on them. But the fact here is that you're combining a lot of other aspects with just a traditional data analytics course. And in an MBA, the differentiating factor that comes to us is that combination of analytics along with it. So yes, our scope is extremely wide, because you can enter into research, into consulting, into marketing analytics, into core marketing, financial analytics, and every such domain our college has companies coming for. And plus you can also go into traditional research and further studies post this, because the return on investment is so high. So that's how I compare my college in differentiation from the other data analytics or other MBA colleges present today.
Yeah, I think most of the points, most of the merits of doing this course are already covered. So, talking about myself also, I consider the return on investment which we get from doing the course here. And another very important point, which Nikita very rightly pointed out, is IES services. So, in fact, I was also considering it 1 year back. I also talked to our faculty members, and it is very surprising to know that such a nice course in the government of India, it recognizes the degree from our institute to do it. So, this is a very nice route to enter into IES services. And also the vast alumni base which we have here, it's one of the most distinguishing factors, because while doing graduation, also while doing post graduation, one of the factors which should everyone should consider is the alumni base. Then we always learn networking in B schools, but if you have strong alumni base, it is when you are recognized out there in the industry. And being a college of Delhi University, which itself is one of the most recognized university in India, this is like a very niche course from a very nice university with very good subjects which are offered here. So if you are aspirants looking for finance, analytics, or economics, I think this is one of the best stages to enter into.
Yep, that's a great point. So yeah, definitely, like the university and department's legacy speaks for itself. We've been here since 1973. Delhi University has been around for ages, and the course in itself is pretty different from the others. It is also, you can say, somewhat matches the international standards as well. So there's a course pretty much in line with what we do at Harvard. Then obviously there is this ROI factor as well, which Yamini ma'am also pointed out earlier. So, and finally, the course opens up career avenues again, just to reiterate, not just in analytics or core finance or marketing, but into a lot of other fields as well. Because at the end of the day, business fundamentals are the most important aspect for a good career. Okay, so now switching gears to something which is more relevant to the current days and an extremely prominent factor in our lives. So, how do you think the knowledge of business economics and allied tools has helped you and your firms make decision making in a much more informed manner during the pandemic?
Okay, so whenever there is any change in the world, the first thing we look at the economics, demand and supply. If demand and supply changes, the company has to change their strategies. And those companies which are able to pivot quickly and able to change their strategies quickly and able to implement them, they come out to be stronger from pandemics. And that is what having core fundamental value essentially teaches us. Once we learn that we need to make some changes, so we are able to formulate those strategies much better. Of course, we need tools and techniques to implement those strategies, but personally I'm not very concerned about those tools and techniques, since we know that since we are in industry we get to learn new, since they keep on changing and we also get to learn them. So that is not an issue as long as our cores are strong. So strategy building is a very strong thing, and which essentially comes from the subjects that we had in our curriculum as well, from both economics as well as data science.
So, when it comes to a question regarding how this pandemic, how business economics becomes relevant in the times of a pandemic like this, I would rather focus more on something like the communication and the networking that we learn as a part of this institute, which makes it a very strong MBA that has become an important feature during these times when actually people are not connecting with each other in person. Your communication skills, working at a distance from each other, becomes extremely important, because Gaurav has rightly touched upon the other aspects, so I just thought I'll add on to it. So there are so many things that you learn while you are here for 2 years. How different forms of communication. You're part of several groups. You're learning how to work together, and when you separate and you're working remotely from your individual houses, that communication skills actually comes into play. And that is the importance of group work that you learn in a good MBA college, which our institution provides. So, if those aspirants who are coming here, they really need to, one thing that they really need to dwell upon is this aspect, that you need to learn how to work together as a team, to communicate, because in the end, it's all about how a particular firm or a company is working by all its people working towards a common goal. And sometimes you might have your own interests, but that communication channel has to stay in place, and you get to learn that a lot in a traditional B school, which our college provides. So that's one aspect I would like to add in separation to what Gaurav has already mentioned.
Yeah, I think doing MBA itself gives you a lot of confidence because you have got presentations almost every day, and you are like, before this pandemic also we used to make presentations over phone. We used to, like, we got so much into this making presentations, working in groups, networking, talking to people, that this does not scare you anymore. So now also we do have team meetings, but since we've got so much exposure to this thing, we are so much prepared about this thing, that this pandemic itself, in terms of talking to people, is not such an issue. And talking about the opportunities in the financial sector we have now, like, I joined my company in during this pandemic only, and there were a lot of people who were losing their jobs. My colleagues also lost their job in this pandemic, so I was also concerned. So I talked to one of the seniors in our cesium, that what is the, like, is it 100%, it is 100% sure that I'll get now job opportunity from here? And they quoted, now we all know that pandemic is going on, but the financial sector people are not losing that much jobs in finance and analytics sector as compared to other sectors, because these two sector, whatever happens in the industries, we will always require people who have this these analytical skills and financial skills, because finance industry is going to prosper throughout. So there are, like, I will not say there are no chances of losing your jobs, but there are comparatively less chances of losing jobs if you are in profiles of this economics, finance, or analytics.
Yep, thanks a lot. So, yep, definitely. So, as we talked about it throughout, so the course focuses a lot on business strategy, the fundamentals of business, and at the department, we obviously learn a lot and build up a lot on our communication skills, teamwork, which is becoming more and more relevant, more so because like we are not physically there with our colleagues. So that's where having that sense of teamwork and good communication skills come in really handy. And the department essentially sets us up pretty well when it comes to finally going into the corporate world. And again, because the course is so specialized and covers so many aspects of the business, so even in such difficult times, our knowledge and everything that we've learned so far is still extremely relevant even in the current setup. So now my final question, and I'm pretty sure almost everyone attending it has it in their mind. So what do you think are the career prospects of students in the long run holding an MBA in business economics? And essentially, so not just like for someone who's held an MBA degree. And again, so I know we've already talked a lot about the course and the knowledge being relevant for a lot of fields as well. So just would want to love to hear your thoughts if there's anything else you want to add to it.
Yeah, just one quick point. We hear more about data-driven decision making. We talk about digital India. We talk about how work from home has changed our lives. We order more things online and prefer not to go to stores outside. And this all would lead to more influx of data-driven decision making and data analytics coming into the picture. So the scope which I see from now, it's bountiful. I cannot define it right now how big a scope it is right now, and this is going to be the field which all organizations, literally all organizations, would have to work on and have to have good talent and good people so that they can do and target right people and make data-driven decisions to make their businesses run. I mean, it's difficult for businesses to even survive without data science in today's world.
Okay, to sum up the career prospects after DBE, so I was just going through a few questions that might help me answer this. So one of them was, do we get core management consulting roles from DBE? And secondly, that someone is pursuing masters in economics. So how is this course different from a traditional master's course in a particular subject? So firstly, when we talk about the opportunities we get here, yes, we do get management consultancies coming to our college for placements. We have had A.T. Kearney in the past, PwC, Deloitte coming to our college to conduct placements. When we talk about a traditional master's, so we also were a master's course, a master's in business economics, and we pivoted to an MBA in business economics in 2016. So the difference here comes from a master's in particular is that you're not totally focused on just your course curriculum, but also several other aspects that are required from a grooming perspective to be a part of the corporate setup or any other setup that you go to, because you have so many events, so many seminars being conducted by industry leaders in this college on almost on a weekly basis, sometimes twice a week, that you have people coming from all different domains to come and talk to you and share their experiences. So that grooming is a very integral part of this college's education. And when it comes to other career prospects, as I mentioned, you have research on one hand, you have consultancy and other analytics and core marketing, financial roles, everything, because you have so many options, so many specialization options in your second year that you can take. You have quantitative techniques in management, you have finance, marketing, and economics. So that opens a wide array of opportunities for people looking for different for their choices in the industry. So that's how we differentiate ourselves. That's the career prospect of DBE. So I would encourage anyone who's looking to apply for an MBA to go for DBE. It's a good college. It's an amazing experience here, and I would really hope that people get an opportunity to study at this institution. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So you gain credibility in the financial industry once you've done your post graduation masters from, and you are finance specialist also if you do graduation from here, post graduation from here. So it opens a spectrum of job opportunities in the corporate sector and government sector as well, and it helps you climb that ladder to higher positions in the organizations. So at like I have 3 years of work experience before this with KPMG, and after working for 3 years, I realized that to speed up my growth in the corporate sector, in the corporate ladder, I will need some professional course as well as some this postgraduate degree. So that's when I started that's when I planned to enter into that course, and it was a very good decision. And I would literally encourage each one of you, if you get a chance to be a part of this institute, it will help you to become director, partner, CEO, CFO of various organizations, because we've seen our alumni base is so strong, and they're also placed at very reputed organizations, so we can take up examples from there, and we can look ourselves to become such respectable persons in the towards in the career growth.
Yep, definitely agree with that. So as we talked about, so there is an extensive scope when we pursue an MBA in business economics, and the knowledge that we gain is relevant for all organizations, regardless of the specialization that you enter in. And I can even take up an example from personal experience. So back in the day, and I'm sure that's the case even now, so there used to be a research project uh, in the last semester. And so just to call out how much scalable this knowledge is, my final year project was actually in the sports industry. So I actually tried to create a statistical model to predict the winner of a football league. So that just helps. I mean, just an example to call out how the knowledge that we gain here is not just restricted to only marketing or finance, but it's just scalable all across, and even not just restricted to the traditional industries. All right, so thanks a lot to the panelists for their valuable time. And I really hope we were able to answer some of the questions which the attendees had. And we had a really good discussion and gained a lot of insights into how an MBA in business economics helps people to build the foundations for a very successful career. We've already talked about our distinguished alumni base, the legacy of the university and department itself, and again, how much focus there is on the fundamentals of business using economics and statistical tools. And of course, thank you so much to the department for providing the opportunity to come back, and it's always great to be back.
Thank you so much to all the panelists and to Karthik sir for such a wonderful moderation. And we will just take a couple of questions from the chat box, since we can see that some of these questions are related to admission and the others are more course oriented. So the faculty members and the panelists can feel free to pitch in at any point. So the first question that we're taking up is, since business economics is the only course of its kind, what are the expectations that the candidates should have while sitting for the interview?
First of all, business economics is not the only course of its kind. Now, it was started in Delhi University first, and then now there are several universities in the country which are also running courses in business economics. So one small correction. And expectations are now quite well aligned with those of any management aspirant. Most B school aspirants have similar aspirations, except that this particular program has a more quantitative focus, which I guess makes the placement scenario a bit different. Would anyone else like to add something?
So probably I can add from my interview experience itself, so that people are expecting, from a student's perspective, what they can expect in an interview to be asked. So yes, as Yamini ma'am correctly mentioned, the interviews are on the lines of all the other management schools as well. But for those who come from backgrounds specifically that, are in line with the direction of business economics, such as BBA or economic honors, those people should come well versed with what they have studied in their undergraduate studies, because the panelists, the people who take your interview do tend to focus on how well you are, versed with what you had studied and what you can bring to the institution. Uh, so having that prior knowledge and so obviously the confidence required in any business school interview is essential in the here.
Thank you, Nikita ma'am. The next question is, does CFA perfectly complement business economics? I think if Manisha ma'am could take this question.
Yeah, since I've done CFA level 1 and I've studied for level 2, could not give it because of this pandemic. So I can confidently say that yes, CFA does help. There are the courses, the subjects are very much in line with the curriculum here. And before choosing this course, also I literally read all about all of the subjects on the website, which are very well spelled on the website. What all do we have here? So subjects like equities, corporate finance, accounts, which is called FRA, financial reporting analysis in CFA, economics, all of these subjects which we study here also. So this is a very nice combination if you are looking for CFA and plus business MBA in this core in this from this department. It is one of the nice combinations you can have to enter in the financial world. And after studying in this course, you will have to give minimum effort to your CFA studies as well. There is no need to go for coachings also. If you are planning to give CFA level 1 with this course, you can, like, you are very well prepared with the curriculum only which we have here.
Thank you, ma'am. The next question is, so the student is from science background and she's asking that as a science background, how is it easy to cope with the business economics curriculum?
Um, I'll just state that I don't think science students will find it difficult at all, because we tend to start from a fairly basic level, but then take you up from there. So the speed can be, a little faster than maybe you'd expect elsewhere, but I don't think science students will at all find it difficult because our uh, course is pitched in a way so that it is accessible.
All right. So the next question is, given that of late, many other institutes have been offering specialized courses in business analytics and analytics and management, how is MBA in business economics differentiating itself from the herd?
Well, one of the things I'll say, and the others could add, is we we don't just teach you how to implement software and get some results and things. We actually lay the foundations in theory. So I think that's how we would say we're different. It's not just what you're doing, it's the deeper understanding that we try to impart through our theoretical courses, so that you're, I think, one step ahead from someone who's just done a pure analytics MBA. I think that's where our focus on economics in particular, on business, aspects of business, they really provide a sound understanding of the context. I think that's how we can, we could differentiate ourselves.
All right.
I'd like to add that with this strong foundation of theoretical concepts of economics and management, students are better prepared to survive and thrive in a world of uncertainty, because that seems to be what's going to come in the future. I read a news headline today that the WHO chief has said that this is not going to be the last pandemic. So just keep our fingers crossed. So yeah, so it's the uncertainty aspect which you will be better equipped to handle.
Just to add one more point to that, with our program, you could even enter into a higher level research program. So our program also equips you for that. So it's not just a career in corporates, but were you to opt for higher research degrees like a PhD, we've had our students doing that in the past. That's also where our training helps.
Yeah, just to even add to what Ananya ma'am said, what we offer, like what our college offers is an MBA degree. We come from the Delhi University. So our degree is highly recognized when it comes for those who want to go, for further studies, especially abroad, because you don't have a PGDM degree that you get here. You're getting a proper MBA degree. So that is extremely valuable for your further education as compared to regular PGDM. And that is a very big differentiating factor of our college. So yeah, that's one more aspect which I think differentiates us from the herd.
I think that can be the last question, and with that, we can end the event. And I would like to extend a very heartfelt thanks to both the faculty members for taking out their time on Sunday and giving us so much knowledge about the department and the course in general. Because we all know that this course, while it has been in the industry for very long, the niche and the specificity of it kind of makes it a little difficult, dangerous, and another kind of sphere to tread in. And there the alums have helped us a lot by sharing their experiences and letting us know that it's a safe place, and working from here can really help us and help us progress in our career a way better, and then not just do random generic specializations. So thank you to all the panelist members, to Kartik sir again for wonderful moderation, and to both the faculty members. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. And nice to see you all. Kartik, Gaurav, Nikita, Manisha, Ananya, Shivani.
Yes.
Likewise.
Very nice. Thank you,
Yes,
ma'am.
yes. Yes, very nice to see all of you. Okay, have a good evening.
You
Bye.
too.
Good evening,
So,
ma'am.
admission queries, I've also put in an email. If you have queries, please write into the email that I've just shared with all of you. We'll be happy to take your questions. And really good to see all of you. Okay, bye-bye.
Right. So, as we close the session, for all the students who have attended, thank you so much. Team Hit Bullseye will try to rope in more such interesting sessions with Shivani ma'am and the whole DU team. Meanwhile, if you have any doubt, if you want to ask some specific question and you think that it was missed by us in the session, you can go to Hit Bullseye YouTube page. You can see the whole recording. And if you want to contact personally, I have attached the phone numbers of Shivani ma'am, who is the vice president, as well as sir, who is the president. So you can call on any number. And till then, thank you so much for joining, and we will see you in another such interesting session. Thank you, the whole team of DU. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Palash.